Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a mead. What a mead is a fermented honey wine. It's a really easy thing to make. All you need is some honey, some water, and just a few other ingredients. To start off, you're going to want to take about 2 quarts of filtered water and bring that to a boil and then cool it down to about 113 degrees, 115, 113. And then you also want to want a hot water bath going while you bring that water to a boil so that you can warm up your jar of honey. I purchased a jar of honey from Whole Foods, right around $27. This is the honey that we got from Whole Foods today. And it's sitting in a hot water bath, warming up so it's easy to pour. And once your hot water, your 2 quarts right here has cooled down, we're going to take that honey and we're going to add it to our 2 quarts of cooled water. And we're just going to pour that in and give it and stir it. So that, and then I have some filtered water. You can use filtered water or reverse osmosis water. Right here I have reverse osmosis, and we're going to fill that jar about halfway, give it a good shake so that we can get the rest of that honey out. So I put about 2 cups of water in there. You're going to get a good shake. And that's just room temperature water, and it's going to help cool down our honey water mixture. Pour that all in there. So we're going to stir this. And we're going to take a temperature reading because we want to add our yeast. But once we put it in the bottle, we want it right around 100 degrees. So we're going to take the temperature, and we're right at 105 degrees. So we should be good once we start filling our jar, and we're going to add some more water to our jar. But this is our 1 gallon fermentation vessel. It's just 1 gallon glass jug. You can get these at any brew supply, or you can order them on Amazon. They run about $7. And then you can also, if you have apple juice, you can go to the grocery store and get apple juice that comes in a gallon jug, and you can use that as well. So we're going to take about 12 raisins, and the raisins, you're going to use those because those are a nutrient for your yeast, so that your yeast stays healthy and active. And just for a little flavor, I got some star anise here, probably about 2 tablespoons of star anise. We're going to go ahead and add that to our jar as well. And then we also have 2 cinnamon sticks, 2 whole cinnamon sticks. You can get all these ingredients readily available at Whole Foods or any grocery store. We're just going to add that all into our fermentation jug. And then we are going to start adding our honey water mixture, which is also called a must. So we have a funnel here. We're going to use a funnel and a ladle so that it's much easier to add into our jar. And as you add this, it's going to cool down as well. Just the action of pouring it in there is going to help it cool down. One of the reasons you want it to be cooler is because if you add really hot liquid to this glass jar, it'll cause it to crack and break. And then you'll end up with a really sticky mess, which is not very fun to clean up. And then I've pulled out a little bit of that honey mixture, so I should be able to pour this in now. Set that spoon over there, and we're just going to pour that honey mixture in. And there's going to be some residual honey left in the bottom of your pot. And we're going to take about 2 more cups of water. We're going to add it into our sauce pot. Give it a good stir so that we can dissolve that honey in there. And again, this is RO water, or you can use filtered water as well. Just stir it in, get all that honey dissolved. And you can, so right now we're making a mead. If you were to add like sliced fruit or sliced berries or whole berries into there, it wouldn't be a mead anymore. It would be a malomel, which is a honey wine made with fruit, which is pretty good as well. So there we go. Add it. That's good there. So we have our honey water mixture with some spices in there and raisins for yeast nutrient. So we're going to take our airlock and put our airlock on there, our stopper. And we're going to cover that with our thumb so that we can give it a good shake. It's going to incorporate some air in there because you want a little bit of air right in the beginning. And then we have our Red Star yeast. This is a Premier Blanc yeast. This is a yeast used for making champagne. It's going to hold up for a higher alcohol content because this mead is going to be right around between 18 to 22% ABV. So it's a little bit stronger than beer and stronger than most wines. We're going to add half of this yeast because we don't need a lot of yeast for this. If we were doing a 5-gallon batch, we would use the whole packet. So we're going to use about 1/4 of this yeast. Pour it in, we'll save the rest for later. Put it in a Ziploc bag and you can store it in your refrigerator. It'll stay fresh much longer that way. And then we're going to add our stopper back on here. Give it another good shake. It sometimes gets a little messy. So then, we have that one on. Put our airlock back in. Airlock is filled with a sanitizing solution. You can also fill it with vodka. That's going to keep gnats away or anything like that. So you want to keep those items out of your mead. Set this to the side. So I have a couple of meads here that we've already made. This one has been fermenting for a couple of days. As you can see, it's about a week old and it's going to change colors on you. It's going to be really cloudy, and that's about a week old. And then if you go another week, and then you can siphon it off into another container and let it sit and it'll settle out, and then you can siphon it off one more time. And you'll end up with a mead that looks like this, that's nice and clear, almost like a wine. And if you let it age over time, it will dry out and won't be as sweet. It'll be similar to a wine. And there's a couple of different types of bottling you can do. If you want it to be more like a wine style and not sparkling, you can put it into a wine bottle with a cork. And this one actually had a rubber stopper. You can use a rubber stopper as well. And then there's another, here's a stopper for that. So this one is a glass rubber stopper. It just snaps right on, and you can store it in there as well. There's one other type of bottle you can use, it's called a ball lock. This is the ball lock system. If you want to do sparkling mead, you're going to add a teaspoon of sugar in here. You can use powdered sugar, confectioner's sugar, or you can use a teaspoon of honey in here. Fill it with your mead, leave about 2 inches of head space on the top, because as it builds carbonation, you need room for that pressure to build up. And then just use your airlock, pop it down. Very simple, just make sure you sanitize everything very well, because if you don't sanitize it very well, it'll go bad on you. Another type of method is you can use recycle beer bottles. And you'll take a beer bottle, fill it with your mead, leave about 1 inch of head space in the top, and then sanitize your bottle caps. Put your bottle cap on, and then there's a crimping tool. Crimping tool you can get from Amazon or any brew house supply store, and it's very simple. Fill your bottle, put your bottle cap on, place your bottle cap crimper on top, and then just crimp down. That will seal it, and it'll be airtight and ready to go. And if you're going to do carbonated meads, you want to make sure that you use proper bottling. Once these glasses have been tempered, so they are harder than regular glass bottles that aren't used for storing carbonated beverages. If you don't use those type of beverages, you have a chance of your bottles exploding. Then you can clean up. And then once you are ready to bottle, you're going to take a tool. So after you finish making your first batch, you want to take a tool called a hydrometer and put it in there, and then it will float. And there's different readings that will tell you what your gravity is. And your gravity on this one is about 1.9, maybe 1.95. So that is going to be a really strong mead. That one's going to be coming out at about 19 to 20% alcohol. So you'll take your gravity, your original gravity, and then after it's fermented, then you'll take another reading, and this will be your final gravity. And if it sinks all the way down to the bottom, you're going to need a bigger vessel. And then that's where you can use your wine bottle, which is a great vessel. So what we have here is just some rubber tubing, and then we have a siphoning auto siphon. It's like a pump actuator. And what you're going to do is put this in your mead, and then this is called a bottling wine. It just has a little plunger on the bottom, and they'll both fit into your tubing. We'll put that in, and then put your bottling one into the bottom of your wine bottle. And you're just going to pump that into your wine bottle. Out of this 2-gallon bottle, you should get about 2 wine bottles plus 2 12-ounce bottles. 1 gallon of mead. You want to make sure your bottling wine is pressed all the way to the bottom of the bottle. Otherwise, it doesn't depress that plunger and it will not fill. And the great thing about using a bottling one is you can fill it almost to the top. And then as you pull out the bottling one, it's going to create that headspace that you need so that you do not overfill your bottles. And I just store, when I'm not using it, I'll put it in an empty bottle so it doesn't make as big of a mess. Then you'll be able to take your final reading for your gravity. And this one is coming out to be about 0.5. So the closer it is to 0, you can tell that it's completely finished. The yeast has done its job and consumed all the sugar. And there we have it. We have one bottle of mead right here. We'll cap it off. This has all been sanitized and ready. And that can age in a nice, cool, dark spot. You want to let it age for about 3 to 4 months. You can go longer, a year, if you can wait that long. And it'll be nice and dry. And if you want it sparkling, you can make a sparkling one. Those don't need to age as long, but if you want it to be drier, you let it age longer. If you want it a little bit more sweet, you can break it out earlier, and it'll have more of a honey sweet aroma and flavor on it. One of the profiles. I've made these before, and you get pear, especially around the holidays. It's really nice, especially when you add the cinnamon or the cloves. You get that nice spicy pear flavor off of the honey. I've had mandarin orange flavors come out through it, all different flavors. If you add cherries to it, you can add dried cherries, dried cranberries. Just depends on what flavor profile you're looking for, and it's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun messing around with it, just doing different flavor profiles, putting sliced peaches in there, or fresh strawberries, slice those up, add it in there while it's fermenting, and it's a lot of fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, comments, please feel free to email myself, and happy brewing. Thank you.